In the last lesson, we covered quite a bit of ground in terms of creating tables, managing those table styles and options. So in this lesson, we will wrap up this subject by filtering and sorting, or looking more at filtering and sorting when we create a table. So I will go back over to the MLS standings spreadsheet that I have open, and I'll select the range and I'll convert this range into a table. So click on that very quickly. And then notice here about the sorting and filtering is that if I go to my table style options, you can make sure that this is checked. So you don't have to use it. You can toggle it on and off if you want to. But if you're sure that you're working with a table and you don't see the filter button, that could be the reason why. And you'll know you're working with a table is if you click in a cell in the table, then the table tools will present itself in the ribbon, and you'll have that design tab in the ribbon for you to work with. Now, from here, we can use these same drop downs, these same column heading buttons, the filter buttons, to do a sort. So, for example, if we wanted to just simply see across the league who had the most losses rather than the most points, I could click on that drop down and sort largest to smallest, and it would sort the data just like we just commanded it to in terms of which teams had the most losses, regardless of what conference they were in. Now, if you wanted to further configure that sorting and you wanted to look at the most losses per conference, then you'd come over to the conference tab in this example and you'd sort A to Z. So here would be the most losses in the East, followed by the most losses in the West. Now, the drawback or the limitation of this mechanism of just using the filter buttons is that really we're only doing one sort at a time. And that's kind of indicated to us by the little icon here, and the little arrow next to it means that we have the sorting that's been applied on this particular column. If you ever want to do a multi-column sort, you need to come to the Home tab, and then over here in the editing section, you have sort and filter. So now we can create a custom sort. These buttons, of course, do what we did earlier, but now we do custom sort, and now we can click on these drop downs and add levels and rearrange our levels as we see fit. So let's say, for example, that you wanted to sort by the goal differential, and then you wanted to add a level by conference, and then you wanted to see beyond that who had the most wins, and you could make 3 levels of sorting in your table. So in the goal differential, let's do largest to smallest, and then by conference, and then by wins, and we'll again go largest to smallest here. And so I'll click on OK. So now by doing this, you're able to sort your data on many different levels all at once. So notice now that I've done the custom sort, that I have these little icons here, here, and here. And so what this is essentially showing me is here are the teams with the biggest goal differentials. And then within that, here we're sorting by conference. And then by conference, we have the wins is the 3rd level. And in this particular table, with the relatively small amount of data that's in the table, we don't have a very good example of where this could change some of the rankings. But let's just manipulate the data so that we can kind of force it. So let's say that if you had 3 teams in the Western Conference that all had 8 as the goal differential, and the Portland Timbers only had 8 wins. So now we go up here in the sorting and filtering, and if we reapply, it should change the ranking. So here's all these 3 that are ranked together. Now we're evaluating what conference they're in, and then finally we're ranking for the number of wins. So that puts the Portland Timbers at the bottom of this list. The next one is Houston Dynamo, and they have 0 goal differential. So again, that's why it would change that ranking. So now speaking of that, where we have lots of 8s, we have lots of duplicates of data, let's take a look at a true duplicate. Now in an MLS table, we're not really going to have any duplicate data that needs to be cleaned in our data analysis, but when you're importing data from a lot of different data sources, that is very possible. So another great use of a table is that I can click in any cell of the table, go to Design tab in the ribbon under Table Tools, and remove duplicates. Now you get a dialog box that looks like this. And now to delete duplicate values, select one or more columns that contain duplicates. So I'll first unselect everything, and then I will just simply select the W column. So I'll check in wins, and any duplicates that are found in the wins column will be removed. So let's click on OK and see what happens. So it says 12 duplicate values were found, 11 unique values remain. So now in the wins column, we shouldn't see the same value repeated twice. So again, this ability to remove duplicates in a table can be very helpful, especially if you are bringing in data from multiple sources. So you want to just have one instance of a salesperson, one instance of a product or a region. You get the idea. So that is a look at tables, a very powerful tool within an Excel spreadsheet. Now you're ready for any questions that should come up on the 727.